Hello, I'm Frederic Fontanet from France. I'm an API designer and an architect. I'm here to present you how to build, finally, open API specification, because we talk much more about API, but not so much how to design the API. The intent of this workshop is to present you this approach, which is very business-oriented and highly automated. Okay. Is there someone? How do you write your open API specification today? How do you use a editor? This is manually. How do you? VS Code. Oh. Okay. What's else? Yes. Okay. Okay. I just want to present you an anecdote, something that happened 2 weeks ago. Then I work I am API designer at BNP. BNP, this is the widest French bank. This is 200,000 people. There are many subsidiaries. And 2 weeks ago, we did a roundtable about with the different API designer teams. The first subsidiary, I prefer to not name this subsidiary. The first one, they train us. They have a set of business analysts, about 50, even more. For each business analyst, a group of business analysts, there is a group of API designer, usually 3-4 API designers. Okay, they listen for, they write the open API specification with the tools they use, the usual tools. And at the end, there is a central team of API designer and reviewers to make consistent all the open API. And this is about 50 API designers. At personal finance, this is for consumer credit, we have almost the same thing. It's probably smaller, but almost the same situation. We have a set of business analysts, but we are only 2 design. One API designer, myself, and another API reviewer. Then how is it possible? 50 API designers and only 2 in the other one. But this is the topic of this workshop. Okay, something that someone said this phrase, this sentence, I think it's very interesting. Then we need 50 business analysts knowing HTTP, or 50 API designers knowing business. The issue that usually the API designer are very well trained about HTTP, open API specification, technical issue, and so on, but they are not too much involved in the business. On the other hand, business people, of course, they are not able to generate open API specification. Then we have to deal with that and to find a solution. I just take in the API literature 2 books, but you can see in the law this is the same thing. Chapter 3, Mike Amundsen is a very well-known API evangelist. Mike Amundsen, chapter 3, we have to model the API. We have to design the API. We provide the example, class diagram, sequence diagram, and so on. I take another book, same thing, same Okay, they propose to model the object that could be used in the API. Okay, then the issue is the current tool not to design, to write OpenAPI specification, but they are this kind of tools. They are probably very good editors for writing OpenAPI. But the issue, this is not my, in fact, this is not my reality. When I deal with business analysts, I don't talk about I have no version, HTTP code is 400, data type is application JSON, and so on. No, it's too early. I don't deal with that. When I work with a business analyst, we talk about Mr. Marchand, the workflow. It's a very oriented, consumer-oriented. We talk about use case, narrative use case. We talk about the structure of data to be exchanged. And we can also talk about operation, but less. But very much use case, customer journey, export resource. And it doesn't match. Okay. Now, the objective is to increase the automation. Okay. Then my job is starting from the business to the generation of OpenAPI. Totally. Then I need to automate. And for increasing automation and consistency is a master work tool, it's very important. And managing the complexity at the enterprise level involves, we have to increase the abstraction. It looks like very theoretic, but trust me, you will see. Okay, then the idea is to not to deal with HTTP concepts to solve. Then we have to split into phases. First phase is it's about the business requirements. Business requirements, this is the solution. Usually, this is the description of the business workflow, processes, and so on. The issue is that the business requirements is not very formal. It's usually free-form text or Word document, something like that. That is difficult to automate from that. Then the second part is to transform this input into a formal, into a model, in fact, into formal notation. Once the functional design has been done, we go to the technical design. Then, our technical design, this is usually by use case, narrative use case, free-form diagram, business requirement, rules, could be an Excel sheet or something like that. This is the input. The input to define the model. Okay? Then we have an important part of the process, which is to model it, to model. Soon. I use UML to model. I will explain why. And once the UML model are done, we have a way to transform automatically, or almost, a large part is automatic and some parts need validation, to transform the UML model into a set of consistent API. Why UML? Why UML? Would be old-fashioned UML. Do you use UML? Is there someone that you? No one? I worked in usually very wide bank insurance, and they use a lot UML. This is notation language, which is very used. Then it matches many of the API design requirements. We have talked about population, business entity. Okay. It provides diagrams. When I work with business analysts, in fact, we work on diagrams. The diagrams allow us to build a UML model, but we work very, very much on diagrams. It supports object-oriented design. It's interesting because like that we can use, we can apply polymorphism, inheritance in the OpenAPI specification. It's very useful. I'll explain why. It's very useful. There is very good feedback from the business people using this kind of using the UML. And it's free, it's a standard, and so on. If I compare this is the coverage of OpenAPI specification by UML. The schema, it will be generated to 100%, totally generated from the UML. The operation to with the server, in the past, because this is a list of endpoints. The parameter, it's almost entirely generated. We just have to say, the mode of serialization, it's a query or pass parameter, but everything else is automated. The response, of course, the leads and the callbacks. A large part is modeled into the UML model, and it's largely automated. The example, it's complicated to provide the example in OpenAPI specification. It's tedious work. In fact, the example, in the UML there is the concept of instance. In fact, this is the instance of a class. You say value on the instance of class. And from this instance in the UML model, it's possible to generate the example. Very complex example as generated into 3 to 4 seconds. It's very, very, very fast. Okay, here this is just in a nutshell. I won't detail, but usually with the business people, we write narrative use case. It could be also a free-form diagram, a workflow, something like that. But everything that I use to detect which operation, which data, and input, output, structure, and I decompose the process, and I identify the operations. Okay, and from that, I'm able to define a set of service candidates, API candidates, only a set of operation. I recommend you the pattern on the site arcetura.com. There are hundreds of patterns. Not all are useful, but a part of this pattern are very useful, and explain how to, from the business requirements, how to transform that into a set of it's not yet an API, it's quite an API. In set of API and operation inside of this API. Okay, then from that, I'm able to create here this is the modeling of CMS. CMS is a standard for content management. Each interface, in fact, this is one API. And it includes a set of operations. Okay. Then we don't have yet the OpenAPI, but indicates to appears in the model. Okay. And after, once we have, here, this is the global model. You have the controller, which is in fact the API, but it will become the API. An operation and a set of operations. Each of the operations has a set of parameters. Then we have a tool which is called swap key in French, that transforms all these artifacts into the open API. An operation provides an operation, the parameter provides an operation, the parameter, and so on. And we start to create the YAML automatically. It's really very fast. Okay, then I talk about operation, but what about schema? I don't have to define the schema manually in the Open API. It's done automatically. Then, here this is an example of one. This is quite complex, but in fact this is one. This is one functional business entity. This is a financial product when you use in the consumer credit. Okay, it's quite complex. Huh? There is this entity holding this entity from a set of property. Each property are typed by other business entity. Begins to be quite complex and do it manually. There is also another issue. This object is used not only in one API, but many APIs. So you have to specify all this structure manually in each API. It will be complex, very slow. You can imagine that it would be very difficult, it will be long, tedious, and also it's difficult to maintain the consistency. Then, in fact, Sotai, when he created the parameter, the parameter has a type. The type is relative to a business entity. Then the schema in the Open API specification is automatically created. The schema itself may have a set of property. The property may be typed by another business entity. Then it means another schema is involved in the Open API, and so on and so on and so on. You already write an Open API? How many times you write an Open API? Yes, totally. 100 what? Yes, but how long time for each Open API? It's long. It's why.
Couple weeks.
Couple weeks?
People need to have input, revision.
Yes, I agree. But it's a long work. It's long. With this approach, for an API from 2,050 lines to we have API with 300 slides. They are generated in less than half an hour. Yes, it's very good. And it will be faster, but because HTTP requires a set of validation, in fact, we just have to pick okay. But in fact, it's almost totally generated. And it's error prone because but there is a linter, an HTTP rules engine that controls everything. What is interesting to have? The idea is when we have a set of business entity, each business entity at the enterprise level is defined only once. It's strange. It's not usual. It's defined once, but of course, in each API, we are able to for example, this is the actual, it's not a theory. I show you the actual Open API in the market. For example, there is the API financial product, there is a schema financial product, and of course, all the property are involved in the Open API. Okay. There is another API which is relative to the simulation of credits. We don't need so much property. Here we just have to uncheck the box, and the SWAPI will compute all the necessary schema to be involved, to be embedded in the Open API. In the Open API, in a few seconds, we are able to. We have exactly the number of Open API schema, no more, no less. And of course, in the UML model, if the schema, the business entity evolves, you add a new property, or you remove property, you change the description, everything. It's automatic. The impact on all API is automatically computed. Okay, once more. But we have a formal UML model, which is a formal model. But it's also used, not yet gRPC, but already the other schema. From the same model, we're able to generate a set of Open API specification, but also a set of Avro schema. And an Avro schema is generated in only a few seconds. It's very, very, very fast. You just have to check the keywords. And it's interesting because the concept is consistent. You can use an Open API, the implementation of an API can be consumer to Kafka topic. But if we handle the same concept, it will be very consistent. In the automotive part of credit, there are many API for technical reason. I don't know exactly the reason, but they merge all the schema of all the automotive API. But it was very easy to merge because everything comes from the same model. Yes. What is also interesting, because we have a formal model, we have much more metadata than the other existing solution. We are able, for instance, to detect that a property has been renamed. It's not possible. Okay, so. Just to better understand the overview, the time we pass from the beginning of the user requirements to the generating of the Open API specification, 35 to 40% are used to write the user requirements, the process, the work documents, and so as well. 55 to 60% it's dedicated to model, to definition of model, and a large part of the model is defined with the business analyst. All the data structure, for instance, they are defined with the business analyst. And finally, the generation of the Open API specification. I write 5%, but trust me, it's more 1 or 200%. Because it's very, very highly automated. And it's also very, very consistent. if the model evolves, we are able to track all the impacted OpenAPI. Well, there is a testimony of the feedback. Okay. Okay, well, this is just some pictures. Okay, I just want to show you a video. I will accelerate the video, but there is a printer. It's an old video, but the process has been improved since. Okay, I will accelerate. Listen. Okay, there is a time pointer. Yeah. Okay. Then here this is the UML model. We define the interface. In fact, it will be the controller. We define the use case and so on. Okay. I'm going to accelerate. Here, this is the tool that transforms the UML model into a set of OpenAPI. And order controller, okay, detects an interface. But this interface, I want it to become OpenAPI. Okay, then the OpenAPI is initialized. Here you can see the operation in orange repeats. It's not yet an OpenAPI operation. It's only UML operation. It will be transformed into OpenAPI operation. Here, you can see, but this is the number of lines in the OpenAPI. Only 21. Okay? That's right. Okay, I start to create the endpoints. Okay, once. Allez, the first parameter. Is the schema, okay. I define style, okay. The type, style, okay. 51 lines, okay. Here I define choose media type, okay. And look at, in a few seconds, there was 51 lines, and now there is almost 100 and 700 lines of specification in the OpenAPI in a few seconds. Because all the schema necessary for the parameter have been computed automatically. Of course, there is a default set of properties that have been selected. You can add a new property, remove some properties, a different property, and so on and so on. Here we create the response. Okay, I did that for all the operation, for the parameter. Okay, I add headers. So links also. There is it's very easy to, if I show you, I suppose, building links. In fact, SWAPI computes automatically all the possible expressions that are necessary to build a link. You don't have to know the OpenAPI specification grammar for expressing a link or callback. It's automatic. It's automatic. Okay, it's one. Okay. This screen is interesting. In fact, here, this is the list of schema of the OpenAPI. And you have checkbox. You just have to say, I want this property, I don't want this property. And for instance, if I remove the agreement action and agreement action is no more used in other schema, then the agreement action schema will be removed from the OpenAPI specification. Okay. That's right. Here this is just an addition, test. Okay. That's right. Just check, this will check. Okay, and finally, in the open office. Okay. But you can see in about 28 minutes, taking all my time, I am generating more than 2,000 lines of code with no error. Voilà. That's all. Then the idea, I want to insist of the importance of starting from the user requirements, using formal abstraction with the UML model. Well, you can do as well, but personally, I use UML. And you can see from something that finally is very, very business oriented, is totally API first. It can be more API first than this approach. And finally, we are able to generate a very complete open. And there is also, if the UML model evolves, there is a linter that checks up compliance, that check the consistency, and so on and so on. Voilà. That's all. For the moment, it's not yet a commercial tool. Sorry. I'm searching for a sponsor, in fact. At the beginning, it was only for my own use, but in fact, finally it's an extremely powerful tool. Then probably I will commercial or open source. I don't know. Someone
Travel, we've done something very similar. We term that as model-driven development. So we have a modeling tool, a compiler, OS3.0. So I'll try to get down to give you the links.
I have seen, I don't want to say competitor, but usually the other tools that I have seen extract the schema from the UML model, but they don't manage the consistency.
That's why we wrote a compiler, not a generator. So there's a lot of similarities. So I need someone like me to coordinate with everybody to help each other out. Ours is open source. It's just a tribal.
I think I know this book. But no, so this is really much more. It allows the consistency. I use for the widest bank in France and for some critical data. I must check that everything is consistent. It's very important. Yes.
Cookies and everything else.
Yes, of course. La prochaine. Okay.
Do you have any way of trying to change patterns a little bit around?
Ça fait change? Oui.
Like you might someone tells you to let's say the generated definition, change something, you way to track that back.
In fact, if something changed, there is the rules engine, what we call the user, that we warn you that there is a change. If it could be fixed automatically, it's done. Sometimes it requires validation, manual validation. In fact, what I present you could be much more faster, but it's just that I need a human validation. I don't display, but when you define a schema, define a parameter, you have to tell that, oh, this property is type is that. The problem in HTTP, you may have the choice because for this content, for this media type, application design, this is this schema. For other media type, it could be another schema. That it requires a manual validation. Okay, if there was not this validation, it could be even faster, the automation. I'm not sure that I have a response to your question.
I'm just saying if someone bypasses Swapney and they edited the open API definition directly, do you have any oversight? So do you maintain any, let's say, a relationship towards the open API that is generated out of specific?
No, you don't select a subset of property in UML. UML is UML. In fact, a business is defined once at the enterprise level. This is in the open API for this schema. Oh, I don't want so much property. I just want a subset of this property. It works like that. And if the UML evolves, of course, if it's possible to fix it automatically, it's done. It's automatic. If it's not, there is a warning. Oh, attention, there are something that you should assess. You are always one. There are hundreds and hundreds rules in the rules engine. Many of the rules come from 42 Crunch, and you are sure that it's conform to the and so on. There are many features. But I can't show you. But what is important, it's possible to automate with a very level of efficiency from a business model. It was the message. Okay.